What's going on, guys? You are checking out an all-new Friday night edition of the RCWR show for November 1st, 2019. We are talking WWE Smackdown Fallout. Just a couple of minutes removed, man. Hey, nice that we can begin a show live on time. I'm liking that. I'm liking when we can pretty much do a show on time. What's going on? Happy Good Friday to you guys. Here we are. It is the 1st of November. Can you guys believe it? In about 8 more weeks, basically, 2019 is going to be over and done with. That it is like really hard to believe when you stop and think about it, because for me at least, I'm not sure how it is for everybody else, but for me at least, it still feels as though 2019, we've just been in it now for about 3, maybe even 4 months. That's honestly how it feels. It's amazing how much time has flown by. Maybe that means I've been having a lot of fun this year. Usually when they say when you're enjoying what you're doing, you're very happy. On most days, time seems to fly by pretty quick. You're not paying attention to time, basically. So maybe that's what's going on with me. But happy Good Friday to you guys. So we're streaming live, a couple of different outlets. We're streaming live in our Discord server, which is free for everybody to join. Check out the links in the episode description. Also streaming via the RCWR show app, available for free on the Google Play Store for you guys that's on the go. You never know, you guys might be getting ready to travel out, go hang out with some friends, or maybe go get your drink on, or maybe about to go to work. So we're keeping you company via the show app, and we are streaming live on Spreaker. We're also streaming live on YouTube. So appreciate those of you checking us out live, and for sure those of you that's going to be checking out the show on demand and on the downloads, man. So look, tonight's episode of Smackdown was all about NXT. It was all about the invasion, right? The invasion, and we kind of got a little bit of a heads up about this, so to speak, based off what went down at the Crown Jewel event. Now, shout out to those of you that had cast your votes on Crown Jewel. Still, a majority of you all, and I thought it was really interesting that there was a majority of you guys that did not check out the Crown Jewel pay-per-view event itself because you just refused to check out any WWE Saudi Arabia event, which makes me feel even that much more appreciative of those of you that go out of your way to check out the pay-per-view recaps that particularly been covering Saudi Arabia, because you want to know what all had went down essentially without seeing it, right? So I think that's kind of cool. But we had polled you guys, and as it stands right now, and we'll probably revisit this poll one more time, maybe Monday, for those of you that maybe didn't get a chance to cast your vote. But as it stands right now, tonight, for November 1st of 2019, we have 10% of you that gave it a thumbs down. 23% is a tie. We have 23% of you giving it a thumbs up. 23% of you are staying in the middle, and taking the lead right now, 45% of you refuse to watch Saudi Arabia shows. So I find that most interesting. But cast your vote if you didn't get a chance to vote just yet. But during Crown Jewel, and I can't believe it had slipped my mind, because I know I was multitasking, getting the stream ready. So that's probably how it slipped through the cracks when it came to talking about it on the show. But they just nonchalantly, as they were promoting Survivor Series, they said, oh, you know, this is going to be epic. Survivor Series happening in 3 weeks, live on pay-per-view. It's going to be NXT versus, it's going to be Raw versus SmackDown. But for the first time ever, NXT is thrown into the mix. NXT will be taking on Raw and SmackDown, right? It is all about, for these 3 respected brands, brand supremacy, right? So you're hearing that, and going into SmackDown, I just couldn't help but feel like, you know, it really would have been that much more cooler. It would have been that much more of an impact had you not mentioned that during Crown Jewel. If you just would have said Raw versus SmackDown, I think most people would have been okay with that. And then the shock factor and everything would have been that much cooler, right? And I say that because we knew going into tonight's SmackDown, there was some issues with a good chunk of the roster that participated at the Crown Jewel pay-per-view event, because due to, call it whatever, call it bad travel arrangements, call it inclement weather, ultimately you can call it unforeseen circumstances that has basically grounded a good chunk of those stars that were on that crown jewel card. Everybody that participated in that crown jewel card, they were not able to hop on that plane as a group together and make it back to the United States safely, right? So it makes you appreciate a guy like Brock Lesnar even more when you stop and think about it, right? Because you go back to Crown Jewel, Brock Lesnar is the first one to come on now, get this match out the way with Cain Velasquez and everything. And you think maybe Brock Lesnar had kicked on back and he just went to the nearest hotel and maybe left out a couple hours later? Probably not. Brock Lesnar probably had said, I did what I needed to do. Where are we going next? Okay, we're going where? We're going to Buffalo, New York for SmackDown. Okay, shit, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I'll go ahead and enjoy my little hotel stay or whatever once we get out there. Let's go, right? So it's awesome that at least as far as bona fide stars go and everything for tonight's SmackDown, at least we had got Brock Lesnar in the house. Obviously, no New Day. Obviously, no Bray Wyatt. And Bray Wyatt was supposed to have a talking segment there with The Miz on Miz TV, right? The new WWE champion. No Bray Wyatt. No Revival, your SmackDown Tag Champions. And remember, they were supposed to be in action against New Day. It was supposed to be a match tonight for the SmackDown Tag titles. They're not there in action as well, right? Just to go over some key names of folks. I mean, loads more, but you get the gist, right? So I love how SmackDown essentially had opened up there with the champion, Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman, as always, doing most of the talking, setting up the fact that Lesnar was pretty pissed off. And why? Why is Brock Lesnar pissed off? He's still the WWE champion. Well, obviously because of the action of one, Rey Mysterio, and what he did to Lesnar post-match and everything, still continuing to meddle and get up in his personal business and everything. And here's where things really started to develop storyline wise, which made me actually recline back in my seat and just, this is an interesting tale, which was Paul Heyman revealed that in storyline now, he went to Vince McMahon and said, hey, you guys took the liberty of putting Cain Velasquez on a silver platter and just giving him to Brock Lesnar and everything. And you saw what he did to Cain Velasquez. Okay. All right. Well, now based on what happened with Rey Mysterio and his actions, my client Brock Lesnar would like to extract revenge and get him a match against Rey Mysterio. So what's up? You gave us Cain Velasquez. What's up with Rey Mysterio? Now you get that bullshit line about, oh, well, this talent is exclusive to this brand and this talent is exclusive to this brand. So as far as Lesnar's request, rather his demand to face Rey Mysterio, not going to happen because USA, Fox, all of that red tape basically. So Paul Heyman said, hey, my client got all of this red tape. We're going to simplify things. As of this moment right now, Brock Lesnar quits SmackDown. What are you guys going to do? You're going to hit us up with litigation? If you're going to hit us up with litigation, well, we can easily counter right back. We got the best lawyers money can buy. So we can string this on now for months, even a couple of years. Ultimately, you guys are going to settle. So go ahead. You guys want to try to hit us with a fine? You want to take this into court? Go ahead. But as it stands right now, Brock Lesnar quits. He's done with SmackDown for now. We will be on Raw, and we're going to be looking for Rey Mysterio. Right? So now you've got your carrot there dangling over the head, as I like to say. Where's that incentive to make me want to come out of my way to stick around and check out this show, right? Well, now you got that little incentive for why you should check out Raw this coming Monday night, right? And kudos to WWE. And this is something that I feel is really unsung right now with regards to Brock Lesnar. And I don't really hear too many of my colleagues talking about this. And right down to the point, I don't even see, at least in the form of some type of editorial, being written up about this. But I'm going to find it interesting after I say this, that maybe we'll now start to see that little bit of a nod and everything, right? Say what you will about Brock Lesnar. Say what you will about the fact that, man, he's not the Brock Lesnar of old. He's not going in there and he's not doing those matches that we know he's capable of from just a pure athletic wrestling standpoint. He's not doing what brought him to the dance ultimately in the WWE the first go round. All right, that's granted, right? He does the same move sets each time. Really nothing spectacular. I'll give you that as well. But the one thing that you cannot say about Brock Lesnar this go round, compared to the previous years, and look, if I'm wrong, I will gladly be the first to admit it. But I'm going to wait until right at WrestleMania, right when WrestleMania wraps up of next year. And I'm going to personally sit down and I'm going to add up all the appearances that Brock Lesnar has made in 2019. But does it not feel as though Brock Lesnar has made more appearances compared to the previous years since he's been back with the WWE? It really does feel that way. And I'm just saying, again, when WrestleMania next year rolls around and that's in the books, we'll officially, maybe we can do it as early as that WrestleMania post show, just adding up all his dates and everything. And I'll bookmark this episode because sometimes I'll make a little bit of a reference. And if I need to come back and pull that episode up, I can do that. But it really feels like Lesnar has been doing more dates this year. And I think that's fantastic. I'm not sure if it's some type of an arrangement where maybe Fox is helping out WWE and they're going, okay, look, we know you guys paid him what you had paid him to do X amount of dates, but hey, we can help you guys out and we'll actually come out of our pockets over here at Fox and we'll pay Lesnar a little bit more money. But yeah, we would really like to get him doing as many more appearances as possible. I've yet to see any type of a piece like that come out there. So, it almost kind of feels like we not only are we seeing more appearances by Brock Lesnar, but if that is the case, you would like to assume that maybe, just maybe, Fox is kind of stepping in there and doing a little something. I mean, we'll crunch the numbers come WrestleMania 2020 for sure. But I'm liking what is continuing to happen with the Brock Lesnar appearances. I will definitely say that. And I know Izzy was there at the Smackdown in Buffalo, New York. He had mentioned he was going to be there on, didn't we just do a show Thursday? I could have sworn we did a show Thursday. Yeah. I'm almost like certain we did a show Thursday, it feels like. What the hell happened Thursday? Oh, it was Crown Jewel. Because I'm like, wait a minute. It feels like we did a show, but normally I don't do a show on Thursdays. So, well, good. Izzy said he had fun at SmackDown. That's great. I'm glad that you had fun. And I can't stress it enough. Anybody that goes to these shows in their respected area, I can't stress it enough. If you ever want to share your thoughts about what it was like at the event that you attended, even more the reason why you should consider joining our Discord, which is free. And I'm not shelling that out just to be shelling it out. I mean, as it stands right now, we've got about 22 members that's part of our Discord community, and at random times throughout the day, evening, even late night, people pop in there and they'll chat. I usually pop in there and I'll say a little something, but I can't stress it enough. One of the main reasons why you should look into joining the Discord server, because we're really going to be implementing it real soon. I can tell you this up front. Come 2020, there's going to be some shows that is just going to be exclusive to Discord, meaning the only way you'll be able to hear it is if you have the Discord app. And we're going to set things up so that one of the shows that we'll do for Discord, it'll be an exclusive call-in. Doesn't cost you a red cent whatsoever. All you got to do is just download the app, enter the server chat room, and boom, you're pretty much good to go. It's pretty much a push-to-talk system that's set up in the Discord and everything. So, yeah, there's going to be a couple of shows in 2020 that I can't stress it enough. It's going to be just strictly a Discord show for the Discord audience and a live call-in show, right? So if you guys want to start taking advantage of that, letting your voices be heard on some of the things that, you've been seeing with your favorite promotions, or you end up going to a live event or something like that, you really need to download that Discord. In the meantime, if you guys end up going to some live event shows and you want to let us know what you had thought about it, just hit me up with a message in the chat or get at me on social media. Let me know, and maybe we can make some arrangements beforehand and we can get you on the show. You know, I'm not in a position where I'm going to hound you down and I'm going to beg you. I'm not doing that, right? Because I that kind of feels cheap to me. So if you say to me, you're going to go to a show, best I'll say is, well, awesome. I hope you have a great time. Unless you voluntarily say to me, hey, I would like to come onto the show and, you know, maybe I can share my experience. Because we actually had a few listeners that have done that over the years when they went to events. I remember there was one cool fan that we had. He actually went to an event, had an RCWR show sign, took a picture of himself with it and everything. And I was like, hey, all right, cool. He was like, yeah, see if you can swap me, man. See if you can spot me. I'm going to be there in the arena pushing the sign. I'm like, okay, cool. I couldn't find the sign. His seats weren't that good. His seats were not that good. I saw the sign, though, beforehand. And you could be like, oh, share the pic. The problem was the pic that he had of the sign, he didn't have himself with the sign. It was a nice, good, big size sign, but he didn't have himself as part of the pic. So it's kind of like, man, anybody could do that, right? Like somebody could say it was me that wrote that shit or whatever. But yeah, so crazy shit, man. Yeah, the Buffalo crowd tonight, they really seem to be bringing the energy for this NXT Invasion show and everything. And I just found that to be very infectious. I loved it. I love the energy. I got to tell you, when I compare their energy to when WWE had their Evolution pay-per-view, because it wasn't the Evolution pay-per-view in New York. I could have sworn it was. Hey, Siri. Let's ask Siri. Where was...
Hello. How's it going?
I'm doing pretty good, Siri. How you doing?
I'm fine. Thanks for asking.
No problem. Hey, Siri. Where was WWE Evolution held?
WWE Evolution was in Uniondale, New York. United States.
Uniondale, New York. Okay, Uniondale, New York. So, I mean, wait a minute. And when was that? Hey, Siri. Hey, Siri. When was WWE Evolution?
WWE.
Okay, so it was on Sunday, October the 28th. So, you know, kind of interesting when you stop and think about it. Almost exactly, you know, well, actually, no, if it was on October 28th, then we're over by a couple of days, but essentially a year later, right? And here's WWE yet again in the New York area. And, you know, you kind of have to remember that this is essentially the same crowd that we had at the Evolution pay-per-view last year. And here are these guys for the Smackdown event. And these fans seem to be more energetic. They seem to be more into the show all throughout the night compared to the Evolution show. I don't know if you guys had peeped that out tonight, but I sure as hell did. But despite that, yeah, I thought it was great energy that was coming from the crowd and everything. Now, I told you what happened there with Brock Lesnar essentially quitting SmackDown and everything, right? And here's where things were kind of weird, so to speak, because you cut backstage, Lesnar, Paul Heyman, they're seen making their exit out of the arena, and watching them make their exit kind of around the corner in the cut, you see HBK, Shawn Michaels, and Triple H, and Shawn Michaels is pushing his NXT hat, and you're going, okay, kind of have an idea what's happening right here. All right. And so, seeing as how Triple H is a WWE executive, if there was anybody that could have stepped up to the plate and at least get into the face of Brock Lesnar and say, hey man, if you're going to do this, yeah, I'm not going to tell your client what he can and cannot do, but if you guys are going to do this, you're going to put me, you're going to put Steph, you're going to put Vince in a very bad position where our hands are going to be seriously tied. And it could result in, for starters, that championship that your client has around his shoulders, he could be stripped of that. Just for starters. Like, you sure you really want to go down this path right? I would have at least liked to have seen that little bit of an exchange, and then at least you could have did somewhat of a subtle acknowledgement to the past history and rivalry that Lesnar and Triple H have had and everything. That would have been nice had we got at least that little bit of a nod. And then at least that loose end could have been tied up, right? So now you can't help but really wonder and put great emphasis on Raw going into Monday night. Okay, keeping what I just said in the back of your mind. Yeah, how is this exactly going to play out? There's got to be some type of ramifications for what Lesnar is trying to do here, right? Like, seriously. So obviously this was all about the NXT invasion. And let me tell you something. I would have preferred it more. If it would have been a case where Triple H said what he said to Brock Lesnar, but then add on top of that, look, do me a personal solid. I'm not asking for that much. You know we're hurting right now because all our guys are still in Saudi. They're trying to make arrangements to get back home and everything. At least just talk with Brock. Talk it out in his personal dressing room. Take the rest of the night to think about it. And give me your decision at the end of the night. Meet me in the middle of the ring and let's revisit this. What do you say? Right? And the reason why I'm laying that out there, I really would have liked the end visual for SmackDown tonight. Key members of freaking Undisputed Era. Maybe you could have even went with Keith Lee and freaking Matt Riddle. Oh, I would have loved it if they would have did a numbers game on freaking Brock Lesnar. I would have loved to have seen a serious gang up on them, right? And it ends so freaking strong like that. And then you have the rest of the NXT roster come on now, and Triple H cutting the promo that he had gave to close out SmackDown tonight. That would have been a better setup, I personally feel, than seeing Brock Lesnar pretty much one and done and we don't see him again for the rest of the night. It would have been a better visual, but overall, still, the NXT invasion on SmackDown was fantastic nonetheless. So I definitely need to give mad props to that. So, okay, let's go here. Let's talk about some of the other action that happened tonight. First off, I got to give a mad shout out to the commentating team. And I just want to home on them for just a couple of minutes. I don't want to go all long and drawn out, but I do want to give them a lot of love. Renee Young, as a result of Michael Cole, Corey Graves not being able to make it on back to the States, we had Renee Young, Aiden English, and Tom Phillips. Now, I actually saw a few of my colleagues and friends that were saying, yeah, Renee Young actually pretty damn good tonight, right? Now they're kind of coming around to what I've been noticing the past couple of months now, and I got to be consistent, and longtime listeners know about me and my best in trying to stay consistent. You can easily rewind it back right before this whole draft shakeup had went down. I had said, man, it really seems like Renee, Corey, and Cole, they're finally starting to find their groove. They're really playing well off of each other. Whereas when you look at when they first started off, they were power talking over each other, right? They were also not picking their spots wisely. You know, it was bad. It was just really blah, you know. But as time had progressed, they got better and better. And one of the things that I felt really started helping them a lot was we didn't have that Renee Young, Corey Graves, almost like a older brother to a younger sister. He hit me, you know, because you know what I'm talking about with their commentating early on. It was kind of going a little, nah, Dad, tell him to quit. It was kind of going in that direction almost. But once they started laying off of that and they really started focusing more on the in-ring action and then started being really witty with each other and everything. I mean, they had some great one-liners, joints on each other, all that. That's when the draft had went down and Renee Young, as y'all know, went to the WWE Backstage show and everything. So for me, to see Renee Young back, and you could go on my Twitter timeline, I said, man, it sucks the draft thing is happening just when Renee was finally starting to find her groove and everything. The whole team was finally starting to click. Now seems as though they're being broken up, so to speak. And no Renee, But not for nothing, they did say Renee Young was going to be a special correspondent kind of commentator, right? From time to time. So it was great hearing her again. She just literally picked up right where she left off. I was loving it. I was really, really loving it. And I don't know, maybe that new little bit of energy and swag that's coming in with her, maybe it's kind of making the executives really realize where she is most strongest, thanks to seeing her doing what she's doing on WWE Backstage with Booker and them. And maybe that's what essentially, look, what you're doing on Backstage, just bring all of that with you and then some. But it translated very well. Basically, that's the point I'm making. The Renee Young, and if you've been watching WWE Backstage, you know what I'm talking about. It's like night and day. I mean, she shines 10 times brighter on that type of show. It's almost like putting on an old glove and her going back to the stuff that she used to do out in Canada and all that with the other shows she was doing before she joined WWE and everything. So great. Aiden English was fantastic as well. Tom was awesome as well. Honestly, that whole trio, they clicked extremely well. Now, at one point, we see Aiden English. He makes his exit. He doesn't get attacked or anything like that. Nothing weird goes down. It's just a couple of segments afterwards. He's gone. He gets replaced by Pat McAfee, who, as we all know, is a big NXT fan. He was phenomenal on commentating. And for me, ever since he joined the WWE, I've really been liking his work. I've been a big fan of his work. I've seen some of the WWE watch-alongs that they've done during the pay-per-view where he's pretty much hosting it with other WWE superstars. And I like his work. I love what he brings to the pre-show. I know most of you don't watch the pre-show, but what you saw of him tonight, if you did watch SmackDown, what you saw of him tonight is essentially the same guy you get on the pre-shows, just 10 times more amplified. And he has a very, very bright career ahead of him. He really, really does. As far as color commentating goes, if WWE ever decides they want to go in a different direction, right? I mean, look, me personally, nothing against, who is it, Dio Madden over there on Raw? Nothing personal against him. But I think you should pluck him out. And I think in his place, you should put a guy like Pat McAfee. I think the team of Jerry Lawler, Pat McAfee, and Victor. Oh, God, I can't think of the other guy's name right now. You guys got to forgive me, but I can't think of the other guy's name. I want to say it's Victor. Victor or something like that. Vic something. I think that trio would be more interesting. And I can just picture the hell out of Vic Joseph. That's the guy's name. Vic Joseph. It'll come to me eventually. Vic Joseph can continue to be that very neutral, very direct. Yeah, you're telling me a joke, but I'm really trying hard to focus on the action. So I'm just going to kind of give you a snide remark and keep going. He can keep doing his thing, but I can see so much potential in a Pat McAfee and a Jerry Lawler playing off of each other very, very well. I think there would be a lot of laughs between those two guys. I think that energy would be very infectious that we as the fans would pick up quite quickly from the TV viewing point. But yeah, all of them, they did pretty damn good. I gotta give them mad props. Bayley had defended her SmackDown Women's Championship successfully against Nikki Cross, Sasha Banks, causing a little bit of interference there. Closing moments of the match while the referee was distracted, helping out Bayley get the successful retain. I don't know because I don't think I had watched. No, I did not. I did not watch last week's SmackDown. I had it on the DVR, was supposed to watch it, but for some reason, I think I was still tied up with some work and some other projects. Did not get to check out SmackDown. Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, I want to say was it last weekend? No, last weekend was not PA, but something weird had went down where feels like SmackDown was not covered. I don't know, but the point is, I did not see Bayley's new entrance. I've seen her new look and all that other stuff, but I didn't get a chance to check out her new entrance and her new theme. So I liked what I had saw and heard from her theme tonight. I mean, her theme. I like the fact. Let me give you compliments first. Not that there's anything negative about her theme, but I like the fact that they got rid of the vocals. I like the fact that it's not happy go poppy type of music. I like that they've pretty much thrown that out. It's got a little bit of what it reminds me of, honestly. It reminds me of almost a Kitty demo. Honestly, and there's nothing wrong with that. I love Kitty personally. So yeah, it's got like a little bit of a Kitty type of instrumental demo vibe to it, right? Like it needs a little bit more work, but I like it. It's actually pretty good. And the new entrance where it's pretty much gold and all that, like that as well. I thought that's a nice touch and everything. So I love all of that. Everything that Bayley has been doing so far as a heel, I'm eating that shit up. I got me a big old pot of coffee and I'm just drinking it up, man. I am loving it. I'm loving it. Now, post-match, we saw from NXT kicking off the shots fired, right? It's happening. Shayna Baszler attacking Bayley and Sasha Banks from behind, and nice, good, strong knees to the face. Of Bayley. Oh my God, she tore that girl up big time. I actually had liked all of that. That played out well. You know, the other thing that I like about this Buffalo, New York crowd is that, and I want to really home in on this because it's another thing that really stood out to me. And now you can't help but ask the question, NXT on the USA network, same network that Raw is on, has it been helping NXT connect more universally with the WWE fans, or is it still a case of only the hardcore people are really still into the NXT? And you can't really help but ask that question because since NXT's initial premiere, and we weren't even going to talk about that here tonight, but just to kind of touch it briefly, but maybe we could talk a lot more about it on the Monday show because I do want to keep it just strictly about SmackDown and everything. But since the initial premiere on the USA Network for NXT, I mean, yeah, no doubt about it. You look at the ratings between NXT and AEW. AEW has been whooping NXT's ass on Wednesday nights. However, both shows are continuing to lose viewership. If I'm not mistaken, AEW had lost about 100K from not this week, but the previous week, basically, right? They lost like 100K or whatever. And so, you know, you're kind of hearing that. And as a matter of fact, I do see the newest numbers here. And let me see if I can actually share that with you guys real quick here. But yeah, it's like NXT's numbers just continue to go down and down and down and down and down. So you can't really help but wonder, like with a crowd like the Buffalo crowd, was that really your... It really did kind of seem like you could make the argument that's your NXT diehards, right? Or you could say, no, these are the fans. It's a combination of both. It's not only the hardcore NXT fans, but it's the fans that have been watching NXT on the USA Network Wednesday nights. So essentially, them now being on USA has been helping, so to speak, right? So, you know, we kind of really won't know, essentially, right? So it kind of sucks, but... No, I like the fact that the crowd pretty much knew who all of these cats were from NXT, even right down to Shayna Baszler. There was a little bit of shock, a little bit of confusion in the air, because it's like, who is this random person? And then I guess when the camera panned in, right, got that nice zoom on Shayna, that's when the crowd really, oh shit, right? It's like, now we know, oh, right? Nice, good, strong knees to the face of Bayley. Laid her out good. So that pretty much had began your NXT Invasion night. Continuing on with the Invasion, we had saw Sami Zayn in the backstage segment. I forget the person he was interviewing or that was interviewing him, but he was saying, hey, look, obviously NXT, they're firing their shots. Okay, cool. But yeah, you know, I wish they would get up in my business, because if they ever interfere in whatever I'm doing, I'm gonna. And Keith Lee, Matt Riddle, standing right there, challenging him. I like how he cowardly was like, Hey man, I've always represented NXT. I've been representing NXT through and through, man. Yeah, I love NXT. Matter of fact, he tried to show off his little logo and all that, but he didn't have a NXT logo on his shirt. I love how he was trying to talk his way out of that shit, but eventually hauled ass, and they chased him down into the ring, beat his ass down. I love that. That was tremendous. Got a nice chuckle out of that. Second matchup, you had The Miz. Miz was trying to do his Miz TV segment. Where exactly it was going to go, who knows? He acknowledged the fact that he was supposed to have Bray Wyatt on his set, but no Bray Wyatt. And then Tommaso Ciampa came out. So you go, oh, this is a very interesting, okay, this looks like it's popping. We can get behind this, right? And pretty much this was a nice setup because Tommaso Ciampa came on out there and was like, man, you know, this Miz TV segment, everything just always has to revolve around you. Not everything is about you. You know, how about we talk about me? It was Tommaso Ciampa's rebuttal and everything. So it was essentially kind of like a dick measuring contest, but ultimately there was a challenge put out there. I'm not sure who put the challenge out there first, but Miz had faced Tommaso Ciampa. No interference from any other NXT guys whatsoever. But Tommaso Ciampa going over The Miz. That was actually a damn good matchup. Damn good matchup. Go back to a backstage segment. Triple H, HBK. They're kicking back, chatting and everything. They run into Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan wants to know what the hell is going on. What are they doing here? Which seemed like a really silly question because Triple H, aka Paul Levesque, he is a WWE executive, so he can pretty much go wherever he damn well pleases. And he could have actually said that, but instead he just said, oh, well, you know, hey, we're here. We're representing NXT. And, you know, we were told about a fight coming to us. So, you know, we're acknowledging that fight and we're bringing it to y'all. You know, what's up? So Daniel Bryan actually wanted to challenge Triple H, fighting one-on-one in the ring, and just selling that moment, all of that history between those two men, that's a nice trip down memory lane. Triple H pretty much backing away from that, saying he wasn't going to fight him. And I love how you got Shawn Michaels in the background. He's taking off his sweater like he's going to fight him, but then he goes, oh, it's cold. He puts his freaking sweater back on. This basically sets up Triple H introducing the NXT World Heavyweight Champion, Adam Cole. It's like, okay, Daniel, you're spoiling for a fight. Why not face the NXT World Champ, Adam Cole? Bryan's like, I'm down with that. But put the championship on the line. And that is exactly what happens to go down in that main event match. Now, there was supposed to be a tag team match for the female side of things. And I have a little bit of bone to pick right here, because it ties into the main event match, is why I kind of have a little bit of a bone to pick. So Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, they are already out there in the ring after we come back from a commercial break. And Austin, I see your question. Hang on, I'm going to definitely get to your question. And you're like, oh man, it's not a Mandy Rose entrance unless we actually see the entrance. How are we going to come back from a commercial break and we don't get to see that nice, beautiful, lovely, luscious woman come on out there? And come on, man, that's just a crime, man. That's a crime. Crime, WWE. Anyway, so Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville looks as though they were supposed to face Carmella and Dana Brooke. And Carmella's music comes on. Nothing is going on, right? Well, cut to a backstage segment. Carmella is getting the living shit kicked out of her by Bianca Belair, who's also doing work on Dana Brooke as well, right? Laid both of those girls out. Bianca Belair walks away very, very satisfied with the work that she's done. You could almost make the argument maybe she had a little bit of help, though. Come on now, you're telling me. I mean, look, she's very athletic. But come on now, 2 against, come on, nah, surely Bianca had a little bit of help. And she probably had that help from one Rhea Ripley and Tegan Nox, as they both made their presence felt as the replacements for Carmella and Dana Brooke. And that was another match where, hey, look, you're happy to see these girls. Once again, got to go back to that Buffalo crowd knowing who these people were and everything. So I found that to be fantastic. And yeah, if you want to just look at everybody from the NXT roster and as far as the reactions, who probably had like the best reaction of the night and everything, I think you definitely got to give the nod to. I think you got to give the nod to Adam Cole. Like in a particular order, you got to go with Adam Cole, Tommaso Ciampa. I would also say Shayna Baszler. And then you can pretty much put Rhea Ripley, Tegan Nox, and you can pretty much, if anything, you could put Rhea Ripley and Tegan Nox at the bottom and actually put Matt Riddle and Keith Lee. You can actually put them over. Yeah, flip it like that, and then everybody else just pretty much falls afterwards, right? You could pretty much do it like that. Great tag match for the women there. Tegan Nox and Rhea Ripley picking up the win. Here's where I have a little bit of a bone to pick, man. It would have made all the sense in the world if after that tag match was over, you could have went to Stephanie McMahon and you could have did something really cool where maybe she's doing something exclusive for the crowd, and then when SmackDown, for the TV viewers, when it comes back from commercial break, hey fans, thanks for checking out SmackDown Live. Hey, during the commercial break, Stephanie McMahon had came out and she had this to say. And then you can go into her putting over what the women had did in Saudi Arabia and everything, right? And that would have been a perfect transition because it ties into the match that had just played out, right? Or you actually could have had her do that segment right before the women's tag match had even went down. Why am I so focused on this, you may ask? Because in going to your main event match of the night, which was Daniel Bryan taking on Adam Cole for the NXT Championship, you've got Shawn Michaels, you've got Triple H, and they're coming on out there. They're grabbing themselves a couple of office chairs, and they're watching all of the action right by the color commentators for this epic main event match, right? This is the first time that the NXT Championship is being defended on SmackDown after all, right? All right, so you're ready for the rest of the participants to come out, but then Stephanie McMahon just randomly comes out, and you're going, well, wait a minute. Okay, so maybe Stephanie McMahon is coming out here to challenge some of the things that Triple H has been doing thus far on the show. Oh, okay, well, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, finally, right? Because NXT has just been whooping the shit out of SmackDown throughout the night. Okay, so Stephanie McMahon is out here and she's about to tell Paul Levesque, look, Hunter, I'm married to you and everything. We got kids together. I know NXT is your baby. But if we're going to be drawing the line in the sands and everything like that, no, honey. Two can play at that game. You think you're going to be able to come out here and you're going to be able to do everything that you've been doing so far with your kids from NXT? Oh, there's going to be some serious ramifications of that. And Hunter, just like in the bedroom and just like in everything else in life, I've got your number. That would have been an awesome moment to sell, right? No. Stephanie McMahon comes out and has this weirdly placed segment moment, live, mind you, where she's putting over the women's match from Saudi Arabia. So I just thought that was just... You could have saved it afterwards by the crowd doing their applause and maybe Stephanie McMahon saying, yeah, folks, how cool of a moment was that? And hey, man, we've only just begun. Look at what we did, not only, just from WWE company perspective, but, we all, the WWE universe, what we were able to do, but pro wrestling as a whole, what we were able to do. Man, the future over there in Saudi Arabia looks so bright. Once again, thank you to the kind people in Saudi Arabia for hosting us for this year's Crown Jewel, blah, 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 blah. And then she could have did that whole spiel with Triple H and then keep it walking along. I would have loved to see Shawn Michaels, after that way I laid it out, how she owns him and everything on the mic, I would have loved to see Shawn Michaels with his facial expressions like, that's your woman, pal. Ooh. Yeah, I would have loved to see him do a little something like that, but Missed opportunities, man. So yeah, your main event match, which had got a decent amount of time to pretty much wrap up SmackDown for the night. Phenomenal, classic matchup. You couldn't help but look at this matchup and wonder what kind of interference was going to be happening in this, right? Like, was it going to be a case where the rest of the Undisputed Era was maybe going to come out and they were going to, make sure that championship did not go anywhere? And I gotta give WWE credit. I think it's very interesting that as this match was happening, something I had wanted to happen for the Seth Rollins Bray Wyatt match, everything leading up to Crown Jewel, and the color commentator saying, well, what happens if so-and-so wins, right? No, that was never talked about on the shows in the previous week going into Crown Jewel. Oh, but here tonight on SmackDown, I don't know which color commentator it was, but one of them had said, so wait a minute, what happens if Daniel Bryan wins the NXT championship? Like, what exactly happens here? And they acknowledged it. They said if he should win the NXT championship, I mean, we really shouldn't be thinking about that, but if he wins the NXT championship, he's still going to be here on SmackDown. So you're like, okay, all right, this is very interesting, right? So, good matchup. One thing I was looking for was maybe the referee playing some shenanigans in this, because the referee that was in this main event match, he is through and through an NXT ref. So, I mean, come on, you think about that for a second. You got an NXT ref. You got the NXT head trainer and Shawn Michaels. You got the granddaddy creator, Triple H, right, of NXT. And it's kind of like, oh, man, I don't like this. 3 against 1. Yeah, there's going to be some shenanigans. No, but it was just a straight up good one-on-one matchup. No interference in it whatsoever. Let's pick it up. Closing moments of this matchup. And right before I go to that main event match, I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything else from my notes here. So bear with me real quick. And yeah, I'm not missing anything else. So if you guys are keeping track at home, yeah, you basically have 4 matches for SmackDown tonight. Yeah, you kind of would have expected maybe there was going to be a little bit more, but no. Closing moments of this one, Daniel Bryan had countered, came in with the pretty ass yes lock, stomps on the back to apply that yes lock, mind you. Cole fights it. Bryan stops him before he's able to hit the ropes there and everything. Adds in the other arm, but Cole uses a foot to hit the ropes. That pretty much has to break up that submission attempt and everything. Bryan follows up with some grounded kicks, cradles Cole for only a near fall. Head kicks follow, and then good knee strike followed by a super kick. Panama Sunrise, and last shot, try to finish it off, and successfully Adam Cole, baby, defeated Daniel Bryan to retain his NXT championship. So yeah, I gotta give props to WWE. This was a match right here where there was no bullshit shenanigans that went down. There was no interference, no Montreal screwjob moment right here. It was just straight up 2 of the very best taking each other on, and the match had got a lot of story time. That match itself had got about at least 20 minutes, so it was a good way to pretty much close out SmackDown and everything. Afterwards, Pat McAfee abandoned the rest of his color commentating team, got in the ring with Triple H, and the rest of the NXT roster just flooded the freaking ring as Triple H had cut a promo saying he's got his army, he's got his blood, he's got his family, and they're ready for a fight. This is their war, and they're just getting started. They have fired the first shot. Raw, SmackDown, what you got? We're NXT. Next move is yours. What you gonna do? Show us what you got. So it's gonna be interesting to see what's gonna be happening on those respected shows this coming week. You know what though? All the shows from here on out leading up into Survivor Series is going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting because, and given the circumstance, I'm very curious where the original script for this SmackDown was supposed to go. Had they got all their talents back home safely, right? No hangups whatsoever. what was the original layout? Was this the plan all along, or was there some serious improv as a result of those plane delays and all that, those flight delays, right? I'm very, very curious what the original script was, matches and all that for tonight's SmackDown. But I liked what we got as a result, because, and this was one of my main concerns that I brought up, if you guys recall, when we were talking Crown Jewel less than 24 hours ago, which was, how are you going to set things up in such a way where the next 3+ weeks going into Survivor Series, your WWE programming, okay, this is interesting, I got to check this out. And now that you've added NXT into the mix and everything, and the subtle drops throughout the night where you have NXT being brought up by the commentators as far as Wednesday's USA Network, that was very, very interesting. And to Joel 11A in the chat, understand something. When you have a majority of your talent that you normally use for your brand SmackDown, and they are not available because of whatever flight respected things had happened, and you're not able to get your main crowd out there, baby, you got to hustle. You got to do whatever you got to do. It's no different than in the NFL. It's no different than in basketball. When your main star goes down, next man up. Even if, oh man, all the stuff that we know about this kid, he's just not ready. Well, guess what? That's what happens sometimes. Life comes at you fast, whether you're ready or not. When the opportunity comes and it's time for you to step up to the plate, then it's time for you to step up to the plate, And I'm like this. I've been seeing for the past couple of weeks, people have been talking about the whole ratings between AEW and NXT, and then they want to look at the ratings for SmackDown and all this other stuff. Look, when the numbers come out, I don't mind talking about the numbers. I don't. But when you look at pro wrestling as a whole, even for the AEW diehards out there, all across the board, no matter who your favorite show is, and we cover a lot of shows here. We cover Wow Women of Wrestling. We cover MLW. We cover ROH. We cover NXT. We cover AEW. What the hell are we not covering on this show, right? You're talking to somebody that does look at the numbers and pays attention. All across the board, all of your favorite shows, their ratings are going down. Even NWA Power, even their shit is going down. You can look at the numbers that they've done so far for the past 4 NWA Powers, going from the first episode to now. Even their numbers are going down. So all across the board, wrestling as a whole, the numbers are going down. The real question is, how further down are they going to go for all of those promotions? How far are they going to go? Impact Wrestling is now officially back into the mix, right? Because they've got their new deal on Access TV and everything. They're another one we're going to be looking at and saying, okay, so by Access TV standards and everything, how are they doing, right? So all across the board so far, all your favorite shows from your favorite promotions, it's all going down. So please, this is my one thing, and it's not asking that much. RCWR Nation, right? And you newer listeners checking me out for the first time or whatever, and I appreciate that. I do. But please, if you're going to talk about ratings, be prepared for the heat that may come from some of the people that you're speaking to on social media, and be smart about it. Know what you're talking about before you jump out there, because if you try to jump out there and be like, well, AEW is better, or this is better, and this is better, be prepared to have a nice counter when it comes to the talk of ratings if you're the one that brings up the ratings. Because there's nothing to really brag about when you're continuing to lose viewership every single episode. Keep this in mind. A friend of mine has said this repeatedly, and it's the truth. Probably, and I've actually seen a little bit of it, and I would agree with him, probably one of the worst shows to ever be produced of a live action DC character, Batwoman, is pulling in better numbers and has been pulling in better numbers than AEW. That's the honest truth. So let's not even talk about numbers. Let's not go there, right? So, Aussie, your question with regards to, do I think the invasion angles will help NXT? Yes. Yes, it will help out NXT. I think it will help out NXT even more because, look, we just talked about the ratings. You see what's been going on with NXT these past couple of weeks. How many Wednesdays are we here? And we give you guys the breakdown because we review AEW and NXT. We tell you what happens. Okay, this segment on NXT, this is what was going on. Meanwhile, this segment happening on AEW head to head. And I always tell you, hey, these guys edged out more. How many times have I been on this show so far and I've said either, hey, overall this week, the better product, I got to give it to AEW. Hey man, AEW slipped in a few areas this week. I gotta give the nod more to NXT. I try to be as neutral, I try to be as unbiased as humanly possible when it comes to reviewing those shows. Looking at what's happening with NXT right now and their numbers just continue to go lower and lower and lower. This invasion, the timing of it is perfect because now you've created a position where you can have some key main stars. Like a Randy Orton, right? You can have a fucking Randy Orton or a Roman Reigns, right? You could have some key guys go on over to NXT. And just going into Survivor Series, not knowing who's going to pop up where, and thus creating that excitement, right? Of, I got to watch because I just don't know what the hell is going to happen here, right? It's good. It's really good. But, where do you go post Survivor Series? You're doing everything that you're doing right now, and you're trying to make everything be about brand supremacy and everything. And I'm telling you right now, it's still about 3 weeks out before we're even going into match predictions and everything. But let me tell you something. If it's a case where you got to decide who's going to come out on top this year for brand supremacy, who's going to have the bragging rights, on paper, NXT. On paper, NXT, just for the bragging rights, just for even more exposure and piggybacking off of everything that's about to go down these next couple of weeks. Ultimately, they should be the ones that come away. They should be the ones because they need all the help that they can possibly get. So, Austin, I really hope I answered your question right there. Also, and look, as far as now, one thing that I do like about what Jokey 11A. One thing that I do like about the point that he had brought up, we got to remember that SmackDown on FS1 last week, and I loved how everybody was taking massive shits on that. And I just hope that when the time comes and AEW is going to be preempted by NBA basketball, you're talking to somebody that for the past 20-something years has been watching TNT, especially when it comes to basketball. I watch their other shows on there as well, but basketball, I'm there all the nights that they are watching it. If I'm not watching my basketball on TNT, I'm watching my basketball on the NBA network. If I'm not watching my basketball on the NBA network, I'm watching my basketball on ESPN or on ABC. I hope that, and you know it's going to happen, I hope that when AEW gets preempted because of the NBA playoffs and they've got to go to one of the other Turner channels, and you know their numbers are not going to be the same what they're doing right now. You know that. You should know that. I hope that the venom that they've been putting out there about AEW rocks, I hope they're going to be able to take their medicine when it's all said and done, right? Now, SmackDown, that should be interesting because the numbers on FS1, it was like 888,000. Now, you could look at that and you could say that's a bad thing, right? But like we talked about on the show last week, yeah, you could look at that as a bad thing, but anybody that has been paying attention to all of the shows on FS1 watches the shows on FS1 like I do, watch The Herd, watch Undisputed, watch First Things First, you know that those shows on a daily basis, they're pumping in anywhere between 115K to about 175,000 views per episode. Each one of those guys, you know, the general ballpark, that's what they're pushing every single day that they're on, because most of those shows are on Monday through Friday, right? Unless they're being preempted by soccer or baseball or whatever, those shows are on Monday through Friday. So for SmackDown to be able to come in there on one night and one night only and be able to get 800,000 viewers, stop and think about that for a second. Undisputed, Speak for Yourself, First Things First. Did I mention The Herd already? Throw them in there. All the usual shows on FS1. So throw all of those shows. They pretty much would have to do like at least 2 days worth of shows just to even try to match what SmackDown was able to do in just one night. So that's what I mean when I say you can look at that as a good thing or you can look at that as a bad thing. You can take those same analytics that I just broke down to you, and when the time comes that AEW is going to be preempted and it's going to have to go to another Turner sister network, okay, well, what's usually on here? Okay, and how's the numbers? Okay, all right, and then how is AEW going to do? So you can almost make that same argument, people. So I need you guys to smarten up, man. I love you guys, but 2019 and beyond, you guys got to smarten up. Some of you. Most of you guys are cool, man. So see what else we got here in the chat here. Let's see what else we got here in the chat. What is going on? Or what is going to happen? WWE Universal Champion and WWE Champion Brock Lesnar. Sergio is asking that question. Well, we just told you. What's happening. He's looking for Rey Mysterio. And again, I go back to the question I had brought up earlier, which was, I'm curious, what was the original plan for tonight's SmackDown? Was it possible to even entertain the idea that The Fiend was maybe going to make his presence felt on Brock Lesnar? Is it possible that while Brock Lesnar was so hot-headed and so fixated on Rey Mysterio, Bray Wyatt would take advantage? Is it possible maybe we would have gone in a direction where there would have been some type of a winner-take-all match, right? The Fiend versus the Beast. It's got a nice ring to it, especially if you're going to let that go down that Survivor Series and all the gold is on the line. That's why I said what I said earlier about I'm most curious what was the original execution for tonight's SmackDown, especially that Miz TV segment. Was it truly going to be The Fiend, the new WWE champion, that was going to be out there on that Miz TV segment? Or was it going to be a case where Miz was thinking he was going to get The Fiend, the WWE champion, but instead he was going to get Firefly Funhouse Bray Wyatt, and essentially that's not what the Miz wants, right? Or maybe was it going to be a case where Miz thought he was going to be able to have the champion out on Miz TV, but instead, no, you got to come to the Firefly Funhouse, right? That's why I posed the questions that I had posed and everything, but this is a nice little detour that's going on right now. I'm most curious what's going to be happening after everybody gets back from Saudi Arabia and where the storylines is going to be going from there. You know, are we going in a direction now where coming up at Survivor Series, is it going to be Rey Mysterio taking on Brock Lesnar for that championship? Is that potentially a direction we're going to be going? But I got to tell you, man, The Fiend, the Beast, championships on the line, winner takes all. It's got a real nice freaking ring to it. Has baseball on TNT, AEW Dynamite Wrestling went to True. Sergio, you got to do me a huge favor, man. Some of what you're saying, and I'm not picking on you, so don't take it personal, my friend, but some of the stuff that you're saying, I'm having a hard time understanding. Your last sentence is a little bit jumbled up, so let me see if I can clean that up. And if your question is accurate, hopefully I'm answering it. If not, then you'll have to clarify more. I think Sergio is trying to ask if has baseball ever been on TNT, or because he said, I'll read it to you as it sounds. Had baseball on TNT, AEW Dynamite Wrestling went to True TV. So I think what Sergio is trying to say is have baseball on TNT and AEW goes to True TV. I think that's what he's trying to say. But the thing you got to remember is, usually when it comes to your baseball, again, you're talking to somebody that's been watching TNT for a couple of decades now. And what's been happening with the later years, especially due to contractual rights for MLB and everything, you know, it's extremely, extremely rare you will see baseball on TNT. Normally, that priority will go to TBS, right? Unless it's a situation where, you know, okay, this game is supposed to be on, but because this other game is on, we're temporarily showing it on our sister network over at blah, blah, blah. But once this game wraps up, then you guys watching here right now, you're in the place where you need to be. We'll have that game, that second header you're supposed to watch. You see that all the time when it comes to your basketball, especially when it's college basketball season. TNT is very, very notorious for that. So not for nothing, but not just the NBA playoffs on TNT, but you also got to look at, okay, so college basketball potentially, you know, is it going to maybe take up some of AEW's nights, you know, March Madness and all that shit. So usually on TNT, it's a pretty good job. Usually it'll just go to the TBS and the True TV networks. And then you've got CBS that's thrown into the mix and everything. So, you know, but the main point I want you guys to focus on, you know, don't focus on the detail. Focus on the overall layout, which is the time is going to come where AEW is not going to be on TNT, right? So either two things is going to happen. Either AEW will be on TNT and it's going to move to another night. You still got to be like, okay, so how are they doing with the numbers? Or in the most likely scenario that will definitely happen, it's going to get moved to one of the sister stations. Just be able to take that same medicine for what you dish out when you're trying to make your brand look superior. And I really wish people would stop going with the whole, you know, hey, we're cool over here. I'm like this. You should be liking, appreciating, and respecting all wrestling from all promotions, right? That's how you should be rolling right now. The hell with, why are we going territorial? Why are we going like we're Crips and Bloods? Team AEW, team, like, why? Like, we should be in this for one thing and one thing only, which is the love for pro wrestling. So I really wish silly little things like, you know, this brand is better because all the numbers, I really wish we would stop that. If anything, I just wish we all could come together and sincerely admit as true pro wrestling fans, yeah, hey, this product wasn't banging this week. You know, here's what some of the things and areas they did right, but then here's some things that they did wrong. But then these guys over here, they did okay this week because blah, 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 blah. I wish they would kind of, most wrestling fans, I wish they would be more universal thinking like that. Hey, before we get ready to wrap up, I definitely want to give a shout out to some sponsors. Appreciate these guys as always, and some of our Patreon members. Hey, man. Look, if you want to check out ad-free episodes of the RCWR show, or you want to check out some exclusive bonus and new audio and video content, great majority of which you won't be able to find anywhere else, exclusive access to our Patreon series, Wrestling with the Topics, hosted by myself and Tammy, 30 with Lee, where I'm reviewing movies, TV shows of all types, some nice hidden gems, good stuff in between. Patreon.com/RCWR show. You know, for just $5 a month, put that nasty ass Subway footlong down. It tastes like rabbit's food. Don't ask me how I know how rabbit's food tastes. It's a long story and it involves some tequila. But anyway, Patreon.com/RCWR show. That's the place you want to be. $5 a month. A month. You get access to, God, at least 7, 8 shows. My God, it's ridiculous the amount of content that is put up on there. So do consider being a Patreon member. Shout out to Justin Repstock. Shout out to Anthony Missionary Thomas from Wrestling Soup. Shout out to John Davis. Shout out to Joe Raymond Jr. Shout out to John Krauser, Sean Kenter, Freddie R. Freddie! Shout out to Tony Bean Gaming. You want the latest in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 for the Nintendo Switch? I'm jealous, Tony. Ugh! Or you want to know the skinny on the upcoming MOBA game Marvel Super Wars, or for anything Marvel Strike Force related, Tony Bean Gaming, he's got news, tips, tricks, walkthrough guides, the whole 9 yards. He's got a great YouTube channel, and he's got the Patreon as well, so you guys can support him and check him out. The RCWR show with Lee Sanders is brought to you in part by IamCanary.com. You know, life can be so unpredictable. Better to be prepared for any situation than be sorry. Even if you can't do it yourself, I Am Canary can. They have created a product that will help anyone send a crucially important message in case of an emergency or an accident in life. As we know, these things can happen. Great affordable plans, and check this out. They've got more than 12,000 registered users since 2018 and counting. Check them out, IamCanary.com. Again, IamCanary.com. Also, shout out to eloquence.com. Try their easy step-by-step template for calculating key figures and more with their multi-purpose break-even analysis template for your business, and keep better track of your financial stats for your business. Eloquence.com. You spell all of that ELOQUENS.com. Also, shout out to Aria K Design. You spell that ARAIK Design, Aria K Design. If you need a graphic designer for your logos, podcast artwork, business cards, books, and more, those guys can help. Check them out, ariakdesigns.com. They are phenomenal. I'm working with my man Shaheen from Nuclear Heat Graphics, and I'm definitely going to be taking up Aria K Design on some future needs, but I'm hooking up with my man Shaheen. And my God, I can't wait to see what he's able to do. He's doing some early concept drawings for me right now. We're going to be revamping the show logo. The template that you guys, when you watch the web stream shows, the template that you all usually see, that layout, that's going to change drastically as well. Everything is getting a major overhaul. I'm basically preparing for 2020. And Shaheen, his artwork is just so fucking badass. He's a very talented artist. I mean, other than myself, Game recognizes Game, and I love this guy's artwork, so I can't wait to see what he's going to be able to do. And he's another one that you guys should definitely check out for some graphic designs, logos as well. But let me tell you something. He ain't doing no freebies. Let me tell you that now. I'm being honest with you. You know, I know we all about the jokes and all that on here, but let me tell you something. You know, you think you're going to be able to get some freebies from him, you're going to have to pony up. And, you know, it might not be within your budget, but what I always say, it's about the quality rather than the quantity, right? So you definitely want to peep that out. But yeah, check him out. He's got a great website, and he's always adding stuff daily. Matter of fact, he's going to be in my neck of the woods next weekend. Not this weekend, but next weekend. He's going to be at StarCast. And he's actually designed some of the artwork for the catalog that's happening in there. And hang on a second here, because I want to give him a nod on his Twitter and his website and everything. But yeah, he's got his own table at StarCast this weekend. He's going to be doing some original artwork. He's going to be selling his artwork. He's also going to be, like I mentioned earlier, the StarCast catalogs for this year. A lot of his artwork has been featured in it. So yeah, show him some love for sure. Follow him on Twitter at Nuclear Heat. Check out the website, nuclearheatshop.com. Once again, nuclearheatshop.com. Also, shout out to my man, Julian Shabazz. Julian Shabazz, the writer of the newest edition, 3rd edition of Black Stars of Professional Wrestling. It's on Amazon.com. Check that out. That's some good shit right there. Also, the RCWR show with Lee Sanders is brought to you in part by the Law Office of Ryan Quinn, which specializes in motor vehicle accidents in the DC and Virginia areas. Call the Law Office of Ryan Quinn today at area code 703-457-1300 for a consultation, or visit the website rquinnlaw.com. QUINN.com. Accidents happen. The law office of Ryan Quinn is there to make it right. Can't forget my good friends over at the $motivateclub.com. If you need motivation, stop wasting your time searching for motivation and let motivation come to you every morning with $motivateclub.com. Subscribe today, $motivateclub.com. LeafyAssets.com. If you're a real estate investor or entrepreneur, they can help protect your assets and strategically grow your business and wealth. LeafyAssets.com. SHEABoo.com. SHEABoo for all your natural best skincare products, all made from natural organic oils and shea butter. Truly the best vegan skincare products. And last but not least, shout out to my good friends behind the movie President Evil. Check that out. Just days before November midterm elections, 3 young girls, a Muslim, Mexican, and Haitian, all stalked by a deranged killer dressed as the President of the United States of America. What in the hell? Oh me, oh my, good Lord almighty. Check out the trailer, buy the movie. It's on Amazon.com. We appreciate all of these guys. You know, might sound a little redundant for some of you guys, but these are our sponsors. These are our Patreon members, and essentially, these guys really help shape up these shows each week. If there's particular topics, sensitive topics, maybe they don't want us to go into, or, hey, we think you should, bring this up. So a lot of these guys, they're wrestling fans themselves. They check out the show and, they love the product. They love what they're hearing and everything. These guys, these are the executives for us, man. And we definitely love giving them their acknowledgement, their 5 minutes of fame in the sun, man. So we love them tremendously. All right. So programming note, I'm going to be back live Saturday night after Wow! Women of Wrestling goes off the air. We're almost getting into the double digits for Women of Wrestling. And with that, I think I'm going to need to reach back out and see who is available for interviews, because I think now more than ever, and I definitely got to see how Mish's schedule is looking, we got to sit down and we got to talk to some of these stars on the WoW roster now that we're almost halfway through the season, and pick their brains and everything and see if we can get some samples about what's going to be happening for the second half of the season and everything. But I'll be live after WoW goes off the air. WoW comes on Access TV at 8 p.m. Eastern on Saturday night. So essentially that would be 5 p.m. on the West Coast, and then it repeats at least 3-4 times during the night. So I'll be live at 9 p.m. as soon as that goes off the air. And your next edition of the RCWR show after that, we'll be back live with you guys on Monday night of November that's going to be November the 4th, I think, right? Monday night, November the 4th. Looking at the calendar here. Yeah, Monday night, November 4th. We'll be back with you guys as soon as Raw goes off the air. Be kind, rewind. Check out previous episodes you may have missed on demand and on the downloads. We're now on Pandora, right? Yeah, the RCWR show is now on Pandora. Very pumped for that. You can get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. Check out the link in the episode description for that Discord as well. It's free to join. And like I said, come 2020, it's going to be a lot of exclusive shows that's going to be call-in edition shows and also just exclusive shows for Discord, right? So definitely look into that. But that is going to do it. I want you guys to enjoy your Friday night for now. I know there's a couple of little news item tidbits that we did not get a chance to talk about. One thing I will say before we roll out, in case you gamers don't know, there is a new WWE 2K20 patch that was released earlier today. And I actually was on social media while I was at work earlier today when I saw the initial statement that was put out by the boys over at WWE Games. And as far as that first patch that is released, like what it addresses, it's addressing gameplay and controls. It's also addressing graphics and clipping, hair physics, hit detection and aiming, interactions with tables, ladders, steel steps, and other objects, referee actions, on-screen button prompts, characters warping or moving unnaturally around the arena, crashes and freezing. I did experience that a couple of times during my initial play. Universe mode, editing and saving. I experienced that as well. Custom and created superstars and creation mode. So hopefully the biggest problem that a lot of us were having was uploading our own personal logos and our faces and all that. So hopefully that's what's been part of the patch, because it's just not a 2K game, a WWE game, without having that capability. Commentary and sound effects, also online stability, matchmaking, desyncs, and lag. And that's pretty much just for starters. This patch 1.02, went live for the Xbox, PS, and PC. So just a little FYI. So make sure if you got 2K20, you guys boot up the game console and download that patch. I'm probably going to take a little bit of a breather, and I don't know. It depends on my mood. Either I'm going to play a little bit of 2K, or maybe first thing tomorrow morning, late afternoon, maybe I'll do a little 2K20. I'll be doing it on the Twitch. So little FYI for you guys. So as long as you're following me on social media, you guys will definitely know when I get ready to go live on Twitch and all that. All right. So that's going to do it. I will check you guys out Saturday. Everybody else for sure Monday. I don't hear from you Saturday. Do enjoy the weekend. I'll catch you guys Monday. Y'all be safe. Be well. Take care.